Soul 3 by Wdowski. Copyright 2025. For your full enjoyment, be sure to read or listen to the end of the chapter. Chapter 25. Dale woke in his sleeping bag. He saw that Pixa was already gone and was not in the tent. He looked at his hands. The wrappings were gone and his hands were completely healed. Pixa, he said to himself as he rose and dressed. Stepping outside his tent, the men were already breaking camp and packing the horses. They had one extra horse, having lost Reggie to the dark fairies. Looking about, he saw Pixa healing the man that helped him and Josh pull the raft to safety. He approached the man and Pixa. The man thanked Pixa and went to help the others pack up. "You didn't wake me, Pixa." Dale noticed she would not look at him. "Pixa, good morning." He tried again as she hovered with her back to him. He moved so he could stand in front of her. "Good morning, Pixa." "Thank you." He showed his healed hands to her. "Good morning, no need to thank me." She answered in a curt way. "Are you mad at me?" He could feel the chill from her. "Should I be?" she replied. "I do not see why you should be." He started to feel guilty. "Unless you are finally blaming me for Bruce. Are you? If you do, I also blame myself." "No, that was not your fault." She softened her tone a bit, but was still clearly upset with him. Then what? Dale began to think no matter the species, females seem to all be the same. "You broke your promise to me," she snapped at him with a huff. "I did not." He defended himself, not wanting her to think he was the kind of man to break his word. "I found out you put me on the first raft with Zoop. You did not have me cross with you." "I am sorry. I was not willing to take the chance of putting you in harm's way." He tried to make her understand. "She nearly had us, using her powers to pull back our raft to them. I did not let her seduce me. Because of you." Her eyes became soft as she looked into his. "Because of me?" "Yes, because of you. I remembered what you told me. I thought of you, and would not allow her to use her siren voice to seduce me." He answered proudly. "You are the reason she failed with me, where she did succeed with the others. You saved all our lives." She smiled. "I forgive you. I understand you were trying to protect me." "Thank you, Dale." "Pixa, you mean a lot to our mission," he replied. "Only the mission?" she asked him. "You know I care for you. You mean a lot to me, too." He added a disclaimer. "I am sorry for not being a fairy." She beamed with happiness and seemed to glow more so, even with his disclaimer. Evening. By the time they made it back to the Riverside Inn, Pixa was asleep in his vest. As the others prepared for a hot meal on the ground floor, Dale went upstairs with Pixa to the room he had stayed in before. He pulled out the bottom drawer of the dresser and set up the bedding, like a small crib. He felt odd doing this for her. Her being so small, it made him feel as if he was playing with a fragile china doll. Taking her from under his vest, he delicately placed her into the bed he made for her. He could feel her breathing and her slight movements as she slept deeply. It reminded him that she was not a doll, but a living creature that had a soul no different than any person. When he returned downstairs into the main dining room, the men were all seated at tables eating bowls of hot stew. He smelled a little bit of smoke from the fireplace. The sound of the cracking of the burning wood was barely noticeable under the chatter of the men and clanking of steel spoons against ceramic bowls as they ate. Dale sat at the table with Zoop, Chopson, and Josh. The other tables were self-segregated again between spearmen, archers, and packboys. John, the field-promoted head chef packboy, placed a fresh bowl of stew on the table in front of Dale. Dale looked up at the teenager and thanked him. "Hope you enjoy it, Major Dale." John left and headed to the table where the other two packboys were sitting. Once he started eating the hot meal, he did not stop until he ate it all. Enjoying every drop of the stew, he picked up his bowl and licked it clean. With surprised faces, the others at the table stared at him. As he wiped his mouth with his sleeve, Dale defended himself. "I was hungry." "Only hungry? You ate that as if you had been starving," Chopson replied as the others laughed. "Sorry," he replied, realizing he had not been using his best table manners. "Hadn't eaten anything since morning." "You woofed that down as if you hadn't eaten anything for days," Zoop added. The others laughed even more so. Chopson redirected the conversation to the mission. "I assume we are heading for the sulfur mine at dawn?" Dale glanced at the table of pack boys. "I'm thinking of sending one of the pack boys back to East Riverton with the guano, so they can start processing it as soon as possible. I want to attach 2 archers and 2 spearmen as his escort." "You would be cutting our forces if we continue alone to the sulfur mine without them," Zup pointed out. Dale took out the map that Dorfman had sold him and placed it on the wood dining table for them all to see. He pointed to a mark on the map. "This is not far off the Riverside Road on our way to the mine to the south. A short detour east of the main road." "The shelter?" Zup asked. "Yes, where this vest came from." Dale placed his hand on his chest. "There could be more goodies down there. The farmer was too afraid to check it out alone, according to Dorfman's story." "You think more vests for all of us?" Chopson asked. "Perhaps." Dale drew his Glock from its holster and placed it on top of the map. "Or even better, more of these, with more ammunition." "Perhaps," Zoop pointed out. "If it is written that such defenses and weapons are there, it would empower our small team greatly. Great enough to easily vanquish a demonoid scouting party, or even a full cohort." Josh liked the idea of them getting such weapons as Dale's Glock. "Vanquish a cohort?" Zup skeptically replied. "You're talking up to 500 steel-armed demonoids. Against what? Not including the 2 teenage boys in Pixa, 9 of us? That is insane. More likely we would be slaughtered." Chopson responded, "Josh is right. If we found a stash of such weapons, still functioning, and with enough ammunition, it would enhance our firepower 100-fold. We could easily fight off a cohort." "If." That is a lot of ifs. Zup was not convinced. "Zoop is correct." Dale had to agree. "There are a lot of ifs. If the shelter is there. If the shelter has the weapons and defenses we need. If they are still in working condition. If there is usable ammunition for those weapons. And if there is enough to equip all of us." "And if," Zup quickly gazed at Josh and back to Dale, "if the great author our friend here believes in did not write some monster or monsters protecting this treasure that may not even be there. We are talking a lot of ifs. Perhaps Dorfman didn't tell you everything. Perhaps something more than only the dark scared off that farmer." "I cannot argue with you, Zup. There are a lot of ifs," Dale conceded. "Yet, our only other option is to wait for additional forces from Littlefields to join up with us to reinforce our mission to the sulfur mine. With enough spearmen and archers to at least deal with any large scouting or raiding parties." Dale took out the map Greendale had given him that marked the location of the sulfur mine, placing it also on the table. "It is just north of the great ruins. I fear we will run into demonoid forces in that area. Perhaps the great author will write that we will not encounter any opposing forces. We will, by his narrative, be able to get in, get the sulfur, and get out without any conflict." Josh was hopeful. Dale looked at Josh seriously. "It would be nice that he did that for us. Yet in any great story, there must be a conflict, hurdles, trials, and tribulations for the protagonist to overcome. Without them, it would not be much of a story to tell. No?" "I see the wisdom in the words he has written you." Josh admitted, "Even a love story needs a conflict. Boy meets girl, boy loses girl, boy tries to get girl back. Conflict is an important element in all great stories. Dale looked at his comrades at the table. I see we have 3 choices. 1. We wait here to be reinforced with more men before we continue to the mine. That would delay us at least 2 days. Zoop did not like option 1. I assume the second choice is we gamble and look for the shelter. Yes. The third choice? Zoop asked. We give up, Dale answered. We fail. Reggie and Bruce were lost for nothing. The guano without the sulfur is useless. There is a fourth choice. Chopson used the point of his knife to trace his idea on the map. We cut off the main road here, blaze a trail through these wooded areas, and link up with these other farmsteads to the mine. If we come from the northeast, perhaps we could avoid any demonoid or Goric patrols. Zoop was not impressed with option 4. Hacking new trails through these woods would take up too much time, and it would not guarantee we would not run into any demonic forces, especially at those farmsteads and the mine itself. The more time we waste, the longer it will be for us to come to Trigor's aid once they are under the Devil-Maiden siege. The hopelessness of their situation began to show on his face. Which is why I am choosing option 2 and 1, Dale answered. We go to the shelter. We hope all our ifs pan out. Arm ourselves to the teeth and move on to the mine. But as a contingency plan, when we send back the guano, I will order them to send us at least 50 men from Littlefields to meet us here. Dale pointed to a spot just north of the mine on Riverside Road, in case we find nothing in the shelter. Zoop was not happy. I don't see any other way. May the great author write us to be successful. Josh blessed the mission. To be continued in Chapter 26.
Help support the author by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing.